Jason Stretch here of Legendary Automotive. Today, the blog is about buying a used vehicle and doing a pre-purchase inspection. It happens fairly frequently. All too often, we find that the vehicle needs considerable work that the customer wasn't at all expecting to pay for. It truly breaks my heart and my crew's heart because all the individual needed to do was to bring it to a shop like Legendary Automotive, and we would have conducted a full pre-purchase inspection before they bought it. So the familiar scenario goes like this. A car or truck is a significant investment. Usually it's the second largest purchase a person will make in their lifetime behind a home. And often a person will buy a pre-owned vehicle, simply give it a test drive and decide it's what they really want. Then they bring it to us for their first oil change and we do a complete inspection. We look over the car very thoroughly because they've never owned it, and we want to make sure that they're aware if there are any issues. We then put together estimates of any work that's needed right away. For most maintenance issues, the vehicle might be able to wait for one or two more service visits, but if brakes are almost metal to metal, or if the suspension of the vehicle is about to literally fall apart, the customer needs to get that taken care of like pronto. Let's say, an example, they paid like $15,000 for this used car or truck. Then after it's inspected, we find that they need to invest an additional $2,000 to $4,000 right away. They just spent all that money to purchase the vehicle, and now they must pay even more to keep it on the road. And unfortunately, we see this sort of thing happening all the time. But there is hope, and it can totally be avoided by having a pre-purchase inspection done before the buyer hands over their hard-earned cash. There are important inspection elements to a pre-purchase inspection. Obviously, a pre-purchase inspection is not free, but the cost is minimal compared to what a person could end up paying for a used vehicle with issues like I was describing before. And definitely the elimination of all possible future aggravation and gaining confidence in your purchase that it's all to the good. In doing that pre-purchase inspection at Legendary Automotive, we thoroughly inspect the entire car or truck. We're scanning the vehicle's computer for any hidden or pending codes, because there are many unsavory characters out there who do turn those lights off before they sell the car. And it can take as many as 40 or so miles after resetting it for the light to come back on. So after the buyer has signed all the as-is paperwork and leaves, miraculously the light turns on. So we can actually see all of these things before. And we're not just providing verbal or written information about what's wrong with the vehicle during the pre-purchase inspection. Actually, we're taking video and measurements. We're creating indisputable evidence of the vehicle's condition that the seller who's selling that car cannot disagree with. We then provide the customer with initial estimates for the needed repair. Back to the early example. Let's say the customer came in to us for the inspection before spending the $15,000, and now they can return to the seller and inform them that this car will need $2,000 or $4,000 worth of work right away. The buyer then can insist that the seller either have the work performed or knock off the cost of the repairs off the price, or the buyer can decide to just walk away and seek a better deal. The key here is not rushing. Don't rush. Often a person is in a hurry to purchase a vehicle. For example, we see this a lot, they have had to rely on a car to get them back and forth to work, and now that car's had a sudden catastrophic failure. My advice, though, is to truly take your time. Even though you may not have time, come up with an alternate form of transportation for the time it takes you to get the inspection done. Don't just pull the trigger on the first thing that looks good. Have any vehicle that you consider for purchase inspected before you buy it. Rushing into any deal will almost always mean you'll spend more money than you wanted to. Realize that most of the reasons that a vehicle is on a used car lot in the first place, or that the person is selling it, is either because they know it needs a lot of maintenance, or because it's at the point in its life that it's about to require considerable maintenance. And they're passing those maintenance and repair issues and costs on to the next owner. So do it right the first time. Find a shop that will do a thorough pre-purchase inspection like Legendary Automotive. If you know anybody that's looking for a used vehicle inspection or pre-purchase inspection, they can always find us online at legendaryfl.com. If you like this blog, we've got many other blogs with a lot of valuable information on vehicles and automotive repair. And if you like what you've seen and read here, you'll love our service. Contact Legendary Automotive today. Thanks again.